because you're going to church, you keep seeing this person. You will be uncomfortable, which means you'll be uncomfortable so I lift my holy hands. You will lift up your holy hands, but your heart is not in the holy hands.
Yeah.
Right? You want to worship, you climb the altar, maybe they want to come take the microphone for you. All of a sudden, you that is happy, your countenance change. You are not doing them. You are doing the God that has called you into service.
Yeah.
So let it go.
Happy New Year, Glow with Us family. Welcome back to the pod. It's been a minute. We've missed you guys, but we've been working really, really hard behind the scenes to bring you more amazing topics and guests in 2026. I am Finfolua Adukebablola. I'm one of your hosts here on the Glow With Us podcast. This platform is anchored by Rhema Glow Church, which is the young adult expression of Rhema Chapel here in Edmonton, Alberta. And we are so, so glad you are listening. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. We are at Glow With Us Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So before we get into today's juicy topic, I'm going to introduce my guest who's going to impart some sage wisdom and advice for us today. With me today is Pastor Maiwa Ajibadu. He is a minister, advocate, and entrepreneur. He's passionate about raising a generation of young people who will be influential in both ministry and business. He's the convener of Triple M Conference, a youth impartation event that equips young minds to thrive and walk with clarity and boldness. But beyond and above all of that, he is happily married to his partner in purpose, and together they are raising 2 remarkable children. Welcome to the pod, Pastor Maiwa.
Thank you so much for having me. I almost forgot that you were introducing me. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
You've got a lot of accomplishments. You've got a lot going on.
Oh,
so.
I'm happy and I'm glad to hear it read.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in it. So,
also, thank you so much, Aduke.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the podcast today. I'm really excited to have you here.
Same here. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, if you've ever been through a breakup, you know just how messy it can be. In fact, they suck. But imagine how much worse they get when you have to see that person at every church service, every choir practice, every hangout, every prayer meeting. That is the nitty-gritty of what we're getting into today. I'm no breakup expert, thank God. So that's why Pastor Maiwa will be here leading us in breaking up but not breaking down in both romantic and platonic relationships within the church setting. So tell me, Pastor Maiwa, is it possible to move on in the same space you were once broken in?
Yes, I believe it's possible. So I think we should understand that breakup first is not the problem. The problem are the 2 people who at some point had a value system, and then the value changed, and then they went their separate ways. Okay, so breakups is bound to happen, especially if you're young, right? It is something that we face all the time.
Yeah.
But the problem is what you do while you're in a relationship determines if you are able to move on in the church. And an instance would be, imagine if I was dating a lady in the church and we liked each other and then we started kissing. Or maybe we graduated from kissing, we had sex. And then all of a sudden, I no longer found her interested, right? And then we break up. It will be practically impossible to move on from such a person in church. I wouldn't want to see them.
Yeah.
Because there's an amount of energy that has gone into that relationship, right? But if I was in a relationship with that same person and we were building our lives on faith, without having to have sex, without having to kiss, it will be easier to become friends even after a breakup. So yes, it is possible to break up and still make up.
Okay, interesting. So do you think that it's solely those physical things that kind of make it hard for people to move on after relationships? What about people that perhaps have put so much stock into the relationship, like they've already started looking towards marriage? What do you say to people like that?
You know, there's a part of the Bible that I love. I think Ecclesiastes chapter 6 verse 9. It said, better is the sight of the eyes than the wanderings of the desire. A lot of time we see what we like, and that's why we approach them. That's why we want to stay connected.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we have so many desires, right? A lot of time, it's not because something is wrong with the person I want to be with. But most often it's usually because we see somebody else that is quite better with the one that I have. And the truth is, it's also in marriage. I have the wife right now. And the truth is, I'll keep seeing other girls that is more prettier, more intelligent than my wife. I'll keep seeing it. But I have come to the realization that I will never be anyone like my wife. And so if you have a partner, if you have somebody that you both have agreed to say, okay, this is the direction, this is where we're headed, this is our focus, you must stick by it. All right? And the perfect illustration for that scripture that says, better is the sight of your eyes than the wandering of desire is imagine having one bird in your hand and you are more concerned about two other birds in the forest that you have not seen. Okay? And so because of that, you lose focus on the one that you have. You appreciate them less. You get my point? So it's not just about the physical. It's not just about the sex.
Yeah.
All of that factors involved. But then beyond that is what goes on in the mind of people that break up is what I'm more concerned about.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when we talk about breakups, we always think about it from the person that's being broken up with. So what are some reasons, like godly reasons, right? Because we try to inform our decisions by the word of God, right? Both the Rhema and the Logos. So what are like reasons why people can break up? Can I break up with my boyfriend because I felt like, I don't know, maybe he wanted 3 kids and I want 2.
I think the first thing we should be asking is why were you with the boyfriend in the first place? Okay. So it's a question of what inspired me? What was my conviction? Someone said to me at the time I was getting ready to get married, said, what's your anchor? Right? There are times we have issues in our marriage, right? But then I remember that anchor. I remember there's this stronghold. There's this thing that made me want to be with this woman, right? So what is the first thing that you had when you made that decision that this is the person I want to be with, right? And so if that conviction is no longer there, then there's a problem. And that's why the breakup comes, right? So, but here is the thing. If that conviction comes that this is no longer the person, I don't think you should stay there because you are more concerned about the end result and not just the now, all right? The end result is, can you spend the 20 years, your 10 years, your 30 years with the same person, right? A lot of us stay in this relationship. What will people say? How would they feel? But you know that your value no longer aligns. And so it is better to leave now than stay and regret in the marriage, right? And so the point is, if it is that time to move on and you have that conviction that you need to move. But the question is, how do you know that it is time to move? I think that's another question we need to ask.
I think you can go ahead and answer that. So I'm waiting.
How do you know that it is time to move? For me, it would be the personal conviction. Is our value aligned? When we started off, maybe our value aligns. Maybe he sees, and when guys says things, right? Especially when they want to have the ladies, they will say a lot of things. They will promise. That's the early phase. We want to check up if you have eaten, if you have slept very well. We want to check on the clothes you're wearing before you go to bed. And now we have got to know you better, and then we no longer ask about your dress. It's the reality, or they tell you that, oh, I'm going to be the president of a country, all of those things. And then you guys started, and all of a sudden, all of those values that made you admire this person is no longer there. You began to question, how truthful can this person be? Can I trust this person? And if that trust is missing, that's one red flag.
So they're saying things that they're not following
exactly
through on.
Right. So if this is what they said before when you guys met, and it's different from what they are saying now that you are together, then it tells you that, man, there's probability that this person will not be consistent with their words in marriage, right? So trust is one big issue, is one big thing. Another factor is understanding that really marriage is centered on 2 integral things. All right. Number 1, kindness and help. Kindness and help. And I can tell you, if you look at Genesis 24 and Genesis 29, when the servant of Abraham was going to go look for a wife for Isaac, the only thing he prays that he was praying for a woman that will be kind. Okay? And now when the wife eventually came with him to meet Isaac, what was Isaac doing? Isaac was meditating. He was in a place of communion. All right? So a lot of time, in as much as Isaac wasn't the one that went to the lady in this case, but the lady met him, committed to fellowship, committed to what they have told him about this guy. This guy is still committed. So you need somebody who is consistent. And so if you're in a relationship and the consistency is no longer there, then it tells you that, hey, you need to question if this relationship is something you want to continue with. All right. And so the trust is something you want to look in for. And the second thing is your peace of mind. Oh, I don't joke with it. I don't joke with it. If I want to ask a lady out and I am troubled, and anytime I see her or anytime I want to be with her, I'm always troubled. That's a checkmate right there, that something is wrong, okay? So these are some of the things you have to put into consideration to say, okay, I think this is not something I want to continue with.
And is there like a particular time frame that I'm sure, I know there's not one out of the Bible, but that you as somebody that has counseled young adults, is there a time frame that you give people to sort of see these patterns and to give themselves enough time to come to those conclusions?
I don't think I would say there is a time frame. I think it's the ball rests in the court of the person, right? You need to know what works, because sometimes if you say time, you can be there and things goes worst. And so you need to know. You need to come to a point of realization to say, I can no longer take this. Oh, I have think it through. And honestly, the simple strategy for me is always ask yourself, in the next 10 years, do I see myself staying with this person with the way we are going right now? If your answer always is no, if what you feel is trouble, if you are, we are like calm water, right? That's why there's this principle of be still, right? When the water is trouble. And so if you do not feel that at any point you ask this question, you don't need a time frame. You don't need a strategy. Just right there, have a very healthy conversation. That's why I said it is good when you break up, but nothing has been damaged.
Yeah.
But if something has been damaged and you break up, you guys will never be friends.
Yeah. Well, I think something that comes up for me is like we accept that troubles come in marriage, right?
Oh, yeah.
Are troubles not supposed to come in courtship? How do you know whether something is a trouble or if it's a breakupable offense?
Oh, I can just speak that. If we're dating, for instance, and I cheat on you the first time, I cheat on you the second time, I cheat on you, that's a big trouble. That's a trouble that maybe you forgave me the first time, right? And I kept doing it. That's a trouble that you should let go. Okay. Other things could be, another way to look at it is could be trouble of, oh, you didn't come on time, you didn't show up on time. Those basic things, those ones can be worked on. But when it comes to things that you know that it is a repeated pattern and this person is not making efforts to change, those are troubles that you need to run away from. Now, it is different entirely when you're in marriage. And that's why I always say that before you go into any form of relationship, ask yourself, what is the anchor? And when by anchor, I mean, what is that conviction that I had before I say yes to this person? And that is the anchor that will keep you going in the midst of the trouble. Because the truth is, either in courtship, either in marriage, the troubles will come. But when they come, there must be something that gives you that confidence and reminder that this person is still my person. Okay? And the person who is your person will always yield to corrections. Oh, I tell you for a fact from experience, they will always yield. The person who is not your person, if you like, say it from now till the kingdom come. Oh, stop doing this. They will never change, because those things need to happen for the breakup that needs to happen. There are certain things that God will put in the midst of relationship if you are not listening to him. When God tells you move and you are not moving, he began to introduce certain things that makes you feel uncomfortable. I can show you in scriptures, and that is what he does to people that doesn't listen. But may we not get to a level where he does that before you leave.
Yeah. And so you'd mentioned earlier that you can have conviction and you can now lose that conviction. Why? And under what circumstances? Like, did God change his mind? Or what exactly would cause you to have conviction about a relationship and then for it to go?
It's possible to have an informed conviction based on how you see the person you want to be with. If I love a girl, I love the way she smells. Oh, I love good smell, by the way. I love the way ladies dress. Maybe she's intelligent, maybe she's smart. So she's my ideal kind of woman. I can form a conviction, and then you can mix that conviction to God's conviction. So my conviction is based on my emotional attachment to the person.
So it was never real.
Was never real.
Okay.
So such conviction are meant to change, because the reality is that I will also see another Aduke. I also see another lady that is more finer than you. And when that happens again, what happens? I will form another conviction again for same person. And that is what happens a lot in church, right? But this kind of conviction I'm saying is the one that comes with God. Is the one that comes with God. That's why Jacob could struggle for extra 7 years for one particular lady, because he's so sure there was a connection he had when he got to the world. All right. Same thing with Isaac. There is something about Rebecca. Do you understand? So there's this conviction that comes when I can't explain it to you, but you have to experience it yourself. You just know that this is God speaking to you. You feel at peace. You feel at home. You see future with this person. It's quite different when I am just carried away by this is a youth. I'm carried away by the bum, by the breast, by the look, by the talking and all of that. It's quite different. When you have this conviction, you are not seeing the breast, you are not seeing the bum. You are seeing the person in the inside of the person carrying the bum. Oh, yeah.
Okay, got it. No, I think that's fair. That's a good illustration of that. So so you've had wrong conviction, right? And God has made that clear to you. How do you now, in that same church setting, break up?
I think the reason why we're having this topic, right, is because a lot of time young people do not want to carry certain people along about their relationship. And I say this, that if I love a thing, I'm not too shy to show it off. Anybody can disagree to this, but that's my own praise. If I love you, we should. In fact, you probably see me or hear me speak in church, and if I have 30 minutes to talk about a particular thing, I find a way to introduce my wife. I want the whole world to know that my wife has 2 masters. So I brag. We recently, my church in Rhema Glow, we had a male session, female session, and then the guys were talking. And all of a sudden, all of the guys, we just find ourselves talking about our wife. We forgot that we were there to talk about ourselves. It tells you that we so much love the women that we have in our lives. If I love you, I show you off. Okay? And it becomes a problem if you are not telling those you hold in high esteem. For instance, your pastor, or maybe a third party in the church that you respect, maybe your HOD in the department or something. Even if you don't want to tell your pastor, you don't want to tell, but maybe somebody that knows, right? And when that happens, when the breakup happens, and you go to the person laughs, because sometimes, most of the time, you see these leaders, they see things you don't see. And so they laugh because they know that it will not last. And I'll share my own practical example. I dated a lady for 7 years, but she's not my wife today. For 7 years in the church. Oh yes, my pastor knows her, but some of the members didn't know, but my pastor knows. And I don't want to go into reason why we broke up, but then when I went to my pastor to say I am no longer with this person, guess what happened? They started laughing.
Oh no.
That they knew. All right. And so there is just that place of the knowing from those higher authority. Okay. Now, but let's move away from this. Now it has happened. You didn't tell anybody. You do this. If nothing is damaged, you guys can still be friends, but don't be friend with somebody you just broke up with. Give it time. Because you also need time to heal. And that's why a lot of people, they break up and they want to rebound. They just quickly look for another guy, or they look for another girl so that they can pepper this person, show this person that I've moved on and all. You don't move on by moving on with another person. You need to heal first, okay? So before you go back to your ex and become friends, give it, just go for a while, take your time. And then going back to your ex to become friends almost immediately, you're also deterring God, hearing God's voice, because God also wants to speak with you. He has wanted to speak, but you are the one who insisted on being in a relationship. So now that you have left, you need that time to build with him, to hear him again.
That's really good. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I think where I want to go from there is asking, if you do break up in church, how do you, in that same space, rebuild your sense of self? Let's take the worst case scenario. Something does happen. You guys didn't court the proper way. How do you, without, I feel like a lot of people, this is a common concern of young adults these days, right? Like you don't want to date someone in church because if it ends badly, you don't want to have to see them. So let's say under the worst circumstances, the relationship happens and then it now breaks up. How do church leaders preserve membership when these kinds of things are happening? How do you encourage people to stay in that same place of worship?
What I would say to them is, first, realize that first you came into the church as a member of the church, not as somebody who was in relationship with somebody in the church. So have that in the back of your mind. I came to church for one purpose, to serve God, not even the pastor, not even my HOD, not even the choir department. I came for God. Now, along the line, I found somebody in the church. Now, I found this person thinking that this person is the one for me, but now I have realized that this person is no longer the person for me. But guess what? There is still somebody that is for me. Who? God. Because when you came for him first. So your job is not to worry about the person you met in the church and left in the church. Your job is to worry about the person that brought you in the church in the first place. And he doesn't judge you. Oh, it doesn't judge you. The only people that will judge you is the person you left behind and the people who knew about it. But their judge is restricted. It's for a time. It will go.
Yeah.
In fact, the nature of my business is I'm in the public PR space and advertising space. And I tell you that a lot of scandals that happen, you will hear it. We because it's our job, we always give you 2 weeks mass. Maybe if it takes 3 weeks and 1 month. But at the end of the day, it all dies down. The person moves on.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the only person you should be concerned about is go to God and say, Lord, I take responsibility for the mistake I've made with this person. Please forgive me. I want to be a changed person. That is the person you hold. You do not hold the person. All right. You do not hold the pastor that was aware. Oh, maybe the pastor will feel bad. The pastor has prayed for us that he's the person. And now do I go and tell pastor? The pastor too also met you. The pastor too also came to meet God.
Yeah.
So you guys are meeting God. So your focus is God. It's not the person. So rebuild yourself because your life is with God, not with the person you left behind.
Yeah. Do you have any practical tips for what that looks like when you're having to see that person a lot? And, you might have some desires to go back. That might trigger some conversations. How do you stay committed to the healing process?
That's why I said, and I'll say this again, don't be in a hurry to go back to the person you just broke up with. Take a moment, all right? If you see them in church, just see them as a church member. Don't see them first as your friends. At that point, they are not your friend. I'm being blunt here. They are not your... for the next... In fact, if possible, for the next 6 months, they can never be your friend.
Yeah.
Okay? So see them as a church member. And what that means is that love them with the love of Christ. Okay? So which means no hatred, no bitter, and not, because we are talking to Christians. We are talking to people who want to come to Christendom, right? People who want to give their life to Christ. So this is something you should prepare for, right? And so just let them be for that moment, okay? And then at some point when eventually you feel you have healed, you're sure. And the truth is, that connection will still be there. But the difference this time now when you go back is that you know where you're headed now. You know what conviction God has given you again. You know that, oh, there is a reason why I broke up with this person. So it can never be this person again. Even if the feeling wants to start growing, remind yourself there is a reason why I broke up with this person. Yeah. Okay? And then be friends maybe because of my own lifestyle. If the lady I talk about, when I see her in church, because I'm a youth president now, so I still have to be a president, so I cannot run. Yeah. As a matter of fact, she takes a very important role. Just so we see koro. Wow. Do you understand? But my point is, we speak from the angle of a church member and as friends eventually, right? Now we talk, we chat. My wife, I don't know. So you can have healthy relationship, but you don't have that healthy the moment you break up. Give it the time to heal. And then when you see each other, have that healthy relationship. And avoid saying, oh, because we are a church member now, let me come and visit you. Yeah. Avoid that, because the truth is, there is something about them that you like. The only thing that has changed is that there's one thing that you no longer like, but there are other things you like. And that other thing can still make you go back into what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
All right?
That's really good, actually. I like that. They still have all the things that you like.
It doesn't leave.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave. Till now, it stayed there. Even with the ex, it stayed there. But I know the only reminder I have if I see them is it can never be, because I know the reason why I broke up with you. So going back to you is like, I want to die.
So I want to ask, how do you said that you see them as a church member, you left them with the love of Christ. How do you deal with if you were the one that was broken up with, or maybe you treated badly, how do you deal with that resentment and anger and that bitterness tangibly?
Well, I won't come here and say it's easy, but you just have to learn to forgive. Learn to forgive. If you're a Christian, and I believe we're speaking to Christians, you've just got to learn to forgive, right? Because the same person who offended your relationship that you broke up with, you will get more worse of it when you are married. But so, and truly, courtship, relationship just prepares us for the real work after, because I am glad for all of those experiences I had in my head, because now it helped me appreciate my wife better, right? There are things I took for granted, I was not grateful for. Now that I see that, no, I can't repeat it with my wife. So, so I, rather than take those mistakes and be angry and be bitter at them, I see it as God used them for a lesson that I needed for the woman I am. So see it as the healing process, that, what this person did was meant to make me better. As a matter of fact, everything we've gone through in our past is meant to make us better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, think about the things you've gone through and look where you are right now. You will realize that those things helped you. Absolutely. Right? So see it as the healing mechanism you need to forgive them. Forgive them. Because if you don't forgive them, then you are sinning. And how do I mean? Because you're going to church, you keep seeing this person, you will be uncomfortable, which means you'll be uncomfortable so I lift my holy hands. You will lift up your holy hands, but your heart is not in the holy hands. Yeah. Right? You want to worship, you climb the altar, maybe they want to come take the microphone for you. All of a sudden, you that is happy, your countenance change. You are not doing them. You are doing the God that has called you into service. Yeah. So let it go.
Honestly, and that's so hard. Like I like that you said that it's not easy. It is very hard, and I think like acknowledging that is the first step, so that people can actually move forth in truth. Yeah, I feel like that was really good. Those are some good tips. I really appreciate that. So some of our listeners have submitted their questions for you to answer regarding breakups. There's some pretty juicy ones, so we're just gonna get right into it. How do you handle the pain of a recent ex beginning to date someone new in your church? It feels like an old wound is being reopened every Sunday.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, just see them as somebody you have to hand over to another person, right? Because you have to go meet the person that is waiting for you.
Yeah.
So rather than getting bitter or feeling bad, no, don't feel bad for them. See it as a moment to appreciate God, because God has just delivered you, right? I don't want to say, because the truth is, for every ex, there's a reason why they are called your ex.
Exactly.
So see it as an opportunity to say, okay, I'm grateful. Now, finally, I can. If maybe at some point you have so much entangled with this person, you don't want to move on. Now that they have moved on, now you have another reason to move on.
Yeah.
And so see it as an opportunity to say, okay, the person that I need is just around the corner.
That's really good. Yeah, I think if you're going to date in church and you break up, I feel like the first thing you have to do is just prepare your mind to see them with someone else. I think you just immediately, like, that's what I've done that before. I'm just like, okay. And there was some, I just pretend.
And the truth is, don't feel bad about it, because a lot of time, those people you see that is moving on with another people, most of the time, they are doing it for rebound. They are doing it so that they want you to see and to manipulate you into coming back most of the time, right? So don't feel bad that you just enjoy it. Be grateful, because there's a reason why you left the person.
Absolutely. Your person is coming. That wasn't your person, so you should be glad.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Awesome. I hope that person got the answer they were looking for. Our second question is, should you break up with a partner you're losing attraction to, even though God confirmed the relationship? I think this question, I don't think it's purely physical attraction. We can also take it from the stance of like emotional attraction. Maybe they're talking about a level of conviction as well. Like
The truth is, God does not make mistakes.
Mhm.
He does not, and he will never. He has never done it before. And so, if this person is sure there is a conviction, there's an anchor, there is something that God told them in their own quiet waiting period about that person, then that person is the person. I remember. Okay, just my wife. When eventually when we knew that we were supposed to be for 1 year, my wife refused because she knows me. She was my friend for like 5 years.
Okay.
She knew me when I was dated. She was counseling me about the person she thought I was going to marry. I was the one counseling my wife about the person I thought she was going to be with.
Okay.
So you see how sad it.
Wow.
And then when eventually because she knew that, and the first thing she said, it's not possible because both of us are like, we are alike.
Yeah.
We get her, you get angry, I get angry. We'll just be beating each other in the house. She said a lot of things.
Wow.
But I said, this is the conviction I have. For 1 year, I was patient with her until she also had the conviction.
Yeah.
Now, the same lady who said we both get angry, I cannot remember the last time we raised our voice at each other. So sometimes the things you think is a problem is a blessing in disguise for the future that will happen. So you've just got to trust God. If God says this is it, then it is.
Okay.
Rebecca didn't have to see Isaac to believe God.
That's true, child. But I feel like people are very married to their attraction these days. It's kind of hard for people to
Attraction can be built, actually. Attraction can be. Oh, I'm married.
Yeah.
So so the reality you need is me sitting here now. Right? I am married, and I'm telling you, I have an ideal kind of woman I wanted. My wife is not. Okay? But I got married to her, and I realized that, thank God, I did not settle for the ideal kind of woman I wanted. I didn't know that the ideal person I needed was my wife. And I'm being real with you, you will not know until you enter. So if God said she's the one, say, go ahead, because there is something about her that you have not, and you will not see it until you let go. Let go of those, I don't have that. Let go of those attractions and just focus on God and said, this person, this guy, this girl is the person. And you begin to see, so he can even smell nice. Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't even know his leg. He has a cute leg. The things you were not seeing, you began to see it, but you can't see it until you let go. Whatever has your attention has your interest. So focus on the attention and you see the interest began to develop.
Okay. I want to dig into that though really quickly.
Okay.
So then do you date them and build the attraction, or can you get married without the attraction and build it in marriage? Where is the line for
once again, we're talking about somebody who had conviction, right?
Yes.
Okay. Date.
Okay.
Date. It comes. A lot of people celebrate success, all right? But more often, we do not focus on what takes us there. It is not about the success itself. It's about the process. The success is the process. Okay? So what God needs to see is that you are willing to go through the process, is that you are obedient to what he has told you, the conviction he has given you. And then you see, he makes all things beautiful at his time. Adam came into the picture, not knowing who the helpmate was going to be. Okay? And then all of a sudden, the helpmate just showed up. He has no option because this person is the person he's meant to be with. And then what happened? They built. They grew together. So it was even easier for him to fall because the woman, he already gave his life to the woman, right? So your job is to listen to God and then build together, grow from there. You see, it comes because it has your attention, your interest began to flow.
Well, that gives me hope. I like that. That was a good answer. So our last question is, Ruth waited, healed, and acted with wisdom before stepping into a new relationship. Why do we often run into new relationships or back to old ones after a breakup in church? And what does godly waiting actually look like?
Godly waiting means you shouldn't be... remember the Bible says, I'll set my watch here and see what God... So it's not just about setting my watch, Habakkuk, right? It's not just about setting the watch. There's something that followed. He said, so that I will see and hear what God will say. All right. So what waiting on God means is that I am not in a hurry to make any decision anymore because I have made it at some point and see I have broken up.
Yeah.
So I made it at some point, see where I am now. So rather than do that again, I want to wait here and hear what he will say to me. Now, what he says is what matters. All right. So a lot of time people go back because they assume that their waiting period is a period to just talk to God and not get the feedback.
Yeah.
See, prayer, communication. What is communication? There's three modules to communication. The one who's saying it, the one who's receiving it, but there is something in between. Okay? So there's a feedback, there's a loop, right? So it goes like this, right? So if you are speaking to somebody, he speaks back. But because we cannot see him, because you can't hear Aduke, no, he speaks.
Yeah.
So, but you've got to wait. That's why you want to wait. So that's why you shouldn't be in a hurry to go back again. Because if you go back again, it's always, as a matter of fact, you go back for the second time, it's always worse than the first.
I can tell you that from personal experience.
You see now? So wait and hear. He speaks. So maybe if you don't have the gift of hearing that voice, he speaks with the things that you are most familiar with. Oh, God is very perfect. He knows your strength. He knows your weakness. He knows that Aduke, likes phone a lot, right? And maybe Aduke is always on her phone. And if he wants to speak, a pop-up, a Google ad will just pop up. A scripture will just pop up from your phone. If he knows that you like to hang out with friends, your friend will just say something if he knows that you are the type that hears his voice. When Elijah was trusting God and then different voices came, there was a steed, there was one that came through thunder and all of that.
Yeah.
But at every point, he spoke in different pattern, different methods. So he will always speak. Be patient. Don't be in a haste to go back. It's always dangerous to do that.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aduke.
This was really good. I feel like there's a lot of healing that has happened, hopefully for our listeners who perhaps are going through their own breakups or thinking about breaking up. I hope that we've been able to impart some wisdom and some know-how in navigating that season. So I think this is it. Thank you so much, Pastor. This is really good. We're gonna have to bring you on for another episode.
Oh, I look forward to it. I'm glad.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. This has been the Glow With Us podcast. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to follow us on social media. We are at Glow With Us Podcast on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So this is actually a 2-part. On the first part, where we've been talking with Pastor Maiwa about breakups, we'll be taking the next session about makeups in church with our very dear Pastor Sheon Daniel and Pastor Chizoba. Please, if you've been blessed by this episode, make sure to tune in for episode 2, where we talk about reconciliation and what that looks like in the church setting. I am looking forward to having that conversation, and I can't wait to see you guys over there. Once again, this has been the Glow With Us podcast, which is anchored by Rhema Glow Church, which is the young adults expression of Rhema Chapel here in Edmonton, Alberta. We're so glad you guys have been listening, and we can't wait to see you on the next episode.